Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for clicking on the video as always. It's the first weekend of 2025, which I still can't believe. 2025 used to seem so far away, but it's here and we're back in one of my favourite spots to kind of kick off the year, I guess, back in the old Pinewood at Rothy Marcus. As you've probably seen, we've got some wintry weather. Had a little bit of snow the last couple of days. It's about -2 at the moment. It's not supposed to get much colder than that tonight, I don't think. Maybe down to -4. But I'm hoping to stay out for 2 nights this time. But the tent's all set up. I'm using the Pomoli hot tent again with the Pomoli wood stove. I can't remember the name of the tent. I'll put a caption on the video. The tent's already set up and everything's inside. I've got the wood stove set up. I've actually got the fire started already, just boiling some water for a coffee to warm up a little bit. It's already the middle of the afternoon, so there's not much light left for today. Food wise, I've got a new pot from Fire Maple. So this is a 1.8 litre pot, so it's quite big for me. But I'm basically going to make another stew again with some beef this time, but I'm going to put a load of stuff in, and that's going to last me the 2 days hopefully. Right, the beef and onions are already in. Doesn't look very nice at the moment. That was just a bit of water I had left over before I went and filled up the rest of it. Cheating a wee bit. It's like a vegetable soup mix, but it takes a lot of the hassle out. Just found that in Aldi quite handy. I'll put all that in. I've got a few kidney beans as well. I've got some cannellini beans as well. This is kind of turning out a lot more than I thought it was going to be. I've got 2 of these stock pot things. The ingredient to thicken it all up, just some gravy granules. And pour a whole load of water on that. Right, that's just coming up 3 o'clock now, so I'll put this on the wood stove and hopefully in a few hours it'll be good to go. It's 4:20 now, so we're starting to lose light quite rapidly, starting to lose heat as well. It's a really crisp, clear night. It's down to -4 already, so it's feeling quite chilly. But it's very comfortable in the tent. The stove's going. You can smell the stew as well. It's really nice. I've got enough firewood for the evening, I think. So I'm getting close to the point where I'm just going to kind of zip the tent down and start building up a bit of warmth inside. There's not really a lot I can film at this time of year. You know, it's dark. There's not really a lot of room in the tent for angles to film things either. So I'll feed Derek just now and then I'll start getting warmed up inside. That's the stew ready. It smells pretty good. I've got some bread to go with it as well. I'll try some. Mmm. Mmm. And that's about all I've got, to be honest. I'm just going to finish this and we're going to stay warm. Go for a pee. Go for a pee then. Go for a pee. Right, be going in. Going in. Right guys, it's 10 o'clock. I managed to get an episode of Squid Games downloaded on Netflix. So I'm just going to get in the sleeping bag and I'll watch that just now. Yeah, I'll call it a night there and I'll see you in the morning. Morning folks. Had a really good sleep actually. Well actually, apart from my my air mat was completely flat this morning. I think maybe I didn't have the valve pushed all the way in. I hope that's the case because it's brand new, so I'll be quite disappointed if it's a faulty one. I'll see how it gets on tonight, but it's about -6 at the moment. Very clear, very crisp morning, but very still as well, so there's no kind of cold biting wind that's sort of driving the temperature down even further. But yeah, I just got the stove on, made myself a coffee from bed, which is always the nicest thing about doing the hot tenting, I think, is you can just wake up, put the fire on, and you're warm again. Can't beat a bacon and egg sandwich for breakfast. Not a huge amount to report, to be honest. Just spent the last couple hours getting some firewood for tonight. I think I've got plenty. It's supposed to be a bit milder tonight, I think, anyway. The thermometer's actually saying -7 at the moment. It doesn't really feel -7, to be honest. although I have been chopping a load of wood. But so yeah, that's about it. I'll probably go and get some more water in a minute, boil up some water for lunch. I'll probably just have noodles or something quick and easy. I tell you what, the days are shorter this time of year. I feel like I haven't really done much, and it's starting to get dark already. It's 10 to 4 just now, and the thermometer's saying like -7, -8, so it's quite chilly. I'll put the other half of the stew on, get that warmed up, and just get myself warmed up, to be honest. Starting to feel like I've chilled down a wee bit. Come on in. Here you go. Ooh. Oh. It's 8:20. I just nipped out to see what the weather was doing, and yeah, the sky's very cloudy tonight, especially compared to last night. The thermometer's looking like it's slightly closer to -9 now, so it's definitely chilly out there. But the stove is absolutely roaring in here with that pine wood full of resin, so we're more than comfortable. I think I'll just call it a day there, to be honest. I'm just going to carry on chilling out by the fire just now, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you in the very snowy morning. Morning folks, I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera or not, but it is snowing at the moment. Just very fine, very light snow. But yeah, there wasn't the big dump of snow overnight that was forecast, just a wee dusting, to be honest. There wasn't much on the tent this morning. I was up relatively early this morning, just had coffee and just some instant porridge for breakfast, just quick and easy this morning. I'm going to pack up some of my stuff inside the tent just now, but yeah, I'll just enjoy this snowy morning before I head out, probably around lunchtime I would think. It's pretty consistent snowfall now, but it's nice. It's like light, dry, powdery snow, you know, rather than the big heavy wet stuff. So it's nice to walk around in. We've just been enjoying it this morning, just strolling around. It's always nice to see the pine trees with the snow on as well. I've got the majority of stuff packed up. I did that inside the tent so it didn't get covered in snow, and I've just got the tent to bring down, and the stove just needs to cool down a little bit before I can pack it away, but that's it. But yeah, I'm glad I stayed out for the second night. I just wish this was yesterday and we could have had all day to enjoy it. I'm probably not going to film much more. It's a little bit tricky filming in the snow because the camera I've got is not actually waterproof, so I don't want to take that risk. But if you want to stick around for Forest Thoughts, please do. But if not, I will hopefully see you on the next one. Oh. Hi folks, thanks for sticking around for the first Forest Thoughts of 2025. And as it's a new year, I feel like I need to give some kind of motivational message for the year ahead, but to be honest, I don't have one. As each year goes by, it gets harder and harder to have hope, if I'm honest. And I know that sounds very dramatic, but it's true. I feel like I'm in this weird catch-22 where the more I learn about the world, the less I actually understand it. And even more so when it comes to this kind of thing, you know, nature conservation and especially woodland conservation and restoration. And I feel like if you're interested in, or you're working in some kind of nature conservation, restoration, hope is even harder to come by sometimes. Especially if, like me, you're involved in kind of woodland restoration. You know, that's my interest, that's my passion, that's part of my job. But we're working on very long-term timescales. You know, we're still arguing today about where to plant, what not to plant, how to do it. And even if we had all the answers today and we planted all the areas, or we kick-started the restoration process by managing deer or fencing it or doing whatever we had to do to get those trees going, it could be 50 to 100 years before we see any significant results. So by not planting today, you know that you still have another 50 to 100 years to go. And that really hit home at the Pinewood conference a couple months ago, that although quite a few people have been working hard, you know, and been doing some good things, you know, we've got some great examples now at Glenfeshie, Mar Lodge, Craigmeggy. Overall, nothing's really changed, you know, in those 30 years, despite all the hard work and the good examples. The general picture of Scotland, especially when it comes to the pine woods, never mind native woodland in general, progress has been glacial. I was actually out with a friend at one of the western pinewood remnants not long after the conference actually, and we were talking about kind of zooming in and zooming out, and the pinewood we were in had some of the highest sort of grazing levels I'd seen in a pinewood. And that on its own feels like a big enough problem. You know, where do you even begin? A woodland on a private estate, obviously management isn't in place. You know, how do you turn that one thing around? And as you start to zoom out, that woodland is a tiny fragment on a 14,000 hectare estate that's being managed for deer, you know, sport. which kind of falls into like land reform stuff and the bigger deer issues, and you know, how do you kickstart woodland regeneration on a, you know, that kind of scale. And then you you keep zooming out and you start looking at the problems in Scotland and UK, and I'm talking about bigger political problems here. You know, zoom out even more, you've got Ukraine, you've got Palestine, you've got Trump back in power in the US. You know, the world is just a crazy place. And you zoom out and you see these like insurmountable problems, and then you start to zoom back in, and it does sometimes make you feel like, what is the point here? You know, you could put a fence around that woodland, or you know, do something again to kickstart the process. But it's very easy to fall into that trap of what does it matter? You know, it's a tiny woodland in a tiny country. You know, Scotland's tiny on a global scale. And I know people say, you know, you have to start with small changes, but when you see the scale of these problems and the time scales involved, it is hard to stay motivated and it is hard to stay positive. But the only other option is to give up, and I don't really see that as an option. So we have to keep fighting, and that's a big part of what this channel was about. I've talked about it in the past, that I know I do all the camping stuff, but really that's to draw people in to talk about the sort of nature restoration stuff and the trees and all that kind of thing. Because I'd been frustrated for years that no one was really talking about these things outside these very niche, closed off academic circles, you know. And in general, the disconnect with nature around the world is huge, and the UK in particular, we seem to be full of outdoorsy people, you know, lots of people physically outdoors, but very little understanding of what they're actually spending time outdoors in, or how the land's managed, or how things work. So yeah, that frustration just kept building, and I thought, instead of getting frustrated, why not try and do something about it? So this is why I, you know, kickstarted the Instagram thing, and then the YouTube followed. And I'm just trying to, I don't know, I'm trying to educate a little bit, or more importantly, I'm just trying to get people to start thinking. I certainly don't have all the answers. I'm not sitting here claiming that at all, but I'm just trying to get people thinking, asking questions. You know, what are you looking at? Why is that the way that is? You know, because until the discussion starts, and that, you know, kind of more general awareness of a bigger group of people begins, you're just messing about. You're never going to get anywhere. You need to get that, you know, wider buy-in from people. That might sound a little bit negative to start off the year. It's not some big profound message, but I guess, yeah, what I'm saying is we don't have much option but to keep fighting for these places, to keep fighting for restoration, for bringing species back. And certainly in my lifetime, you know, the whole discussion around nature conservation and forest restoration is in a much better position than it ever has been. And sometimes I think, as much as I get frustrated about this kind of thing, imagine being some of these pioneering conservationists who are trying to talk about this kind of thing, you know, 30, 40, 50 years ago. I mean, that must have been just soul destroying, you know, that no one was listening. At least we are talking about these things a bit more. But yeah, it just feels like progress is still painfully slow. But I guess my message to you is, yeah, keep fighting, keep learning, keep asking questions, keep questioning everything you're looking at. Get your friends, get your family to start thinking about things. Ask them questions, get them thinking about things. Because that's how we're going to make a bigger change, is just getting people thinking and questioning and getting on board with wanting the same restoration objectives as a lot of us watching this video and me talking to you want to happen. I don't really have any significant plans for 2025. I'll keep making videos as and when the opportunities come up. Similar kind of thing. Hopefully visit a few different places in Scotland this year and talk about a few different topics. But if you do have places or topics that you would like me to talk about or show you, then let me know. Leave them in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do and whether I can include that in future videos. But again, just wanted to say thanks for watching. Just yesterday I hit the 500,000 views for the channel, and we're very close to 6,000 subscribers. Appreciate the support, and if I've changed a few minds or I've got a few people thinking about these things, then the channel's been worth it so far. But yeah, I'm getting pretty chilly now, so I'll leave it there. Thanks as always for listening, and all the best for 2025.